Good morning, colleagues. Yes, I'm ready. I'll also share my view of the current market now. The first and most important thing I'd like to point out, of course, is the liquidity sweep that took place below the lows we had formed. That's 59,800. So at the moment, or rather last week, that level was 59,080. What's interesting here and what's attractive in terms of liquidity, and what can we generally expect in the near future? At the moment, the 65,000 mark is a 4-hour liquidity cluster, with the imbalance acting as a sort of resistance. This is the first, shall we say, problematic zone that the price will interact with. After that, we could run into the 68,200, 69,200 levels. That will be the next liquidity pool, the next cluster. But before that, it's still necessary to form some sort of clear consolidation and, let's say, a more or less normal upward flow of orders, which might not be present just yet. There are several reasons for this, and we'll get to them in a moment. So for me, the ideal scenario right now would be to test 65,000 and get some sort of correction to start forming a sideways range between 65 and 60,000. Ideally, since we still have equal lows here, which act as liquidity, it would be best to take them out. That is, these would be the 58,800 levels. 57, possibly, so to work further with the liquidity that's below. A lot of people now believe in growth, and since the weekend was not volatile in terms of liquidity, that is, there wasn't really any buying and major capital wasn't involved in these moves. Of course, on Monday and even yesterday, people started jumping into longs. This creates a certain liquidity cluster from the perspective of short scenarios in terms of stop losses, which the long traders set just above the 60 mark, a round number, and above 59, where we actually have liquidity in the form of equal lows. But what's more interesting is what happened during the weekend itself. So the first thing that happened was the situation surrounding Iran and Israel. A new round of escalation. They exchanged strikes again, although Trump said there would be no strikes, that he had asked Israel not to respond to these attacks, but they were carried out today at around 7 in the morning. So overall, Iran and Israel are not paying attention to what Trump is saying. Trump, for his part, stuck to his line that the negotiations are going well and that supposedly on Monday, Tuesday, or perhaps even Wednesday, the deal will be signed. But the American stock market has not yet opened and has not reacted to this news in any way. We have seen enormous outflows. On Friday, 1.75 trillion was withdrawn from funds and over 300 billion from crypto. So overall, the trend may well continue. To be honest, I don't believe in a quick rebound and buyback at the moment. That is, it seems as though this movement was too slow for it to be bought back just as quickly. On the one hand, that's a plus, but on the other, it's a minus, because we could indeed see another fake rally and repeat the same patterns we've had before. Because if you compare, then quite literally, the same thing was happening here. There was a slow correction, then the price moved sideways, took out liquidity on both sides, and continued the correction. It's the same story here. There was also a sideways movement here. We took out liquidity on both sides, and once again, there was a sweep from the opposite side, from the liquidity that was below. So for me, the key level will be 65,000, the reaction to it, and any further price movement. That is, if we hear consolidate, that is, if the price moves into the 65,000 area and we consolidate or try to consolidate above the 61,200 mark, then there's a chance for some sideways trading and for moves higher. So 70 is possible, maybe 72 to 74, but that will clearly be later on. And by that time, we'll have more reviews. Therefore, overall, the key decision-making zone at the moment is 65,000. Ethereum looks exactly the same way. We've taken out loads of lows here. The only thing left from the untouched liquidity, that is, we've taken out the minimum at 1,535. Even our low is at 1,503. That's the 1,384 mark. And on it, if you look at the daily time frame, there are also equal lows. Right here, 1,385. And they could also be taken out. Here, we've already started interacting with the first problematic zone. As we can see, we've even pieced it with a wick. This is how it will look. on the 4-hour time frame. So we've pierced it, couldn't hold above, and as usual, got a pullback, a correction. So right now, you can't even say that Ether looks stronger than BTC, although if you look at this zone, that is the first liquidity cluster, we have interacted with it. This hasn't happened on BTC yet, so overall you can even spot a bit of strength here. So now there could be a pullback and a continuation of the upward movement somewhere towards the $1,800 area, provided there's a positive outlook. Or perhaps that was the very rebound, and the price will continue to form a downward flow of orders, and we will end up updating the $1,384 mark. Solana looks weaker than the rest of the market overall. That is, altcoins have been experiencing a correction due to the rising dominance, or rather its slight pullback. What's interesting here is that I still have a single zone left uncovered, which is the 50 mark, and overall that would probably be the target for a decline because the rebound, and at the moment there isn't really any strength to speak of. If you look at the 4-hour chart, yes, there are similar pullbacks as with Ethereum and Bitcoin, but they look weaker. So it's clear that the heavyweights are going to pull the market towards themselves now. They're pulling the blanket over in terms of liquidity. Another interesting point I'd mention is Michael Saylor and the outflows from the ETF fund. Last week saw outflows of 1.7 billion, and even Thursday's positive result for BTC was minimal. This was offset by Friday, which also saw outflows. As for Saylor, interestingly, we saw 32 Bitcoins sold on Monday. And what's most interesting is that we didn't find this out from Saylor himself, but from on-chain metric. This week, there are also claims that he supposedly sold last week, although he writes that it's necessary to add more orange dots, which usually indicates purchases. And now the question is, were there sales by Saylor last week, and did they affect the market? Or did we simply see panic as a result of this news? Will the company's own strategy change? And the question is, how will it change? Because they need to pay monthly dividends. The month has started, and in fact, they're supposed to do this in June. That is, there must be funds available to pay these dividends. The question is, how will they act? According to on-chain metrics, if you look, then a week ago, they had transfers amounting to 650. I'll show you now what it looked like. If you look, 205 and 206. So in total, there was a transfer of $30 million at the current exchange rate. It's still unclear whether only these 300 Bitcoins were sold or if it was more. This also raises a big question. Between 2:30 and 3:30 in the afternoon, we'll find out this information. There will be a report. We'll definitely write about it in our Telegram channels, including in the trading chat. Next, something else I find interesting to keep an eye on. It's the lab coin, which is active. We looked at the breakout at 10 in the previous review here. Overall, it was quite small here, meaning there was a pullback of about 80%. Afterwards, there was a buyback. The coin, I would say, is very manipulative. You need to keep an eye on it, because here we could either form a reasonable base, so to speak, for further recovery, or we could start pulling back right from these round $11 to $12 and go lower, lower and lower. Next up is VVV. Here there were lows that we didn't take out. The price is still holding for now. That's generally very good. Perhaps some reasonable points for buying back and working with a long structure will appear here. For now, probably the 18 mark. 17.5 would also be interesting to watch, to see how we trade here and how the corresponding movement develops. Hype is also interesting. We just missed the target a little bit. That is, we took it from the only liquidity. Here are the lows. $56. We've got a bounce straight away. You can see that it looks stronger. Even though on Friday we had the first outflows from the ETF on hype, well, and that's not surprising because, again, there were outflows from all ETFs and there was general panic in the market. So there was a good buyback here, about a 12% move, but without positions because it happened on Sunday, even during the transition from Saturday to Sunday. So clearly you either had to work with a limit order or, again, it would have been good to test it. The buyer's block, which hasn't been tested yet. That's 54 and the 48 mark. If they don't give it, then try to look for continuation points on the nearest pullbacks. Bitcoin has shown a very good upward movement and continues to do so. But what don't I like? It's this growth, which could end very soon. The 4.5 mark is the daily high. Apparently, that's what they're aiming for. There's not much left in here. So the question is, what will we get at these daily highs? Will we get a false breakout and a sharp pullback? Or will we see continued growth and similar patterns with the same coins? Lap, rave, some sort of esports. So this is a continuation, a pump, a continuation of the vertical upward movement. We've already given 300%, and by all appearances, this will continue. The only question is, up to what values? Could be very similar to what happened here. That is, there was a swing from 30 cents up to $4. And after that, there was a correction. The same thing could happen here as well. So there might be another swing, maybe up to $8 or $9. And after the correction, it might all finish around the $4.50 to $5 mark. Long positions are still the priority for now. GEX. The daily highs have already been taken out. It's worth looking for points to build a long structure because there's potential for further movement here. $22, $22.50. Watch for a breakout and for these true highs to be taken out. Next, CTR. This is a fresh listing, also quite recent. It's worth keeping an eye on it. No specific trading ideas for now. I'll be watching the volumes Monday. It's important not to forget that there's a higher likelihood of all sorts of volatile movements. Empty ones as well. So here you can trade both short structures and catch upward impulses. XLM. For now, I'm just observing it, as it had growth against the market previously as well. I'll be watching the key level at 18. So if we trade out some sort of structure, it could either continue the short, considering the rise in dominance, or start forming some consolidation for a subsequent breakout. Next, the H coin. Here, as we can see, a consolidation was formed, but it moved in the opposite direction. In other words, it left very good lows, a very nice structure. This looks very promising for the future. But for now, there's an upward movement, an upward flow of orders, and the price may continue its upward movement, or it could see a correction, considering the weakness at the round number 70. Useless. So far, as we can see, it hasn't broken through this compression that I pointed out. For now, we're continuing to form a consolidation here. But it's interesting, it's the same scenario as before. That is, it's a breakout. 63 in a short setup. Sky AI has no ideas for now. It can be removed from here. Magma is updating its highs one after another. It's worth keeping an eye on, because we've also seen a very strong move since listing. There's already been more than 400% growth, and at some point there should be some sort of correction, but apparently only after another breakout to new highs. So we'll trade out a structure, get a new high, and only then might we start forming a downward structure. BTV wrote in the trading chat at night that there would be a correction. And to be honest, I was simply too tired and didn't wait for it. At 2 in the morning, the correction started here, and the price made a very good move of 33%. It could have been taken, but as I said, just a little. I didn't hold on, that is, maybe just 20 or 30 minutes short. I didn't wait for my setup, my entry point, and missed out on this short scenario. For this reason, it's very important to be part of a strong community, to have like-minded people who keep an eye on the market even at 1 or 2 in the morning and trade alongside you. Or alternatively, to have some more automated systems, some trading bots that could catch such moves. But overall, there was a good move on BTV. It was possible to take profits. I would have expected the short to continue here. The coin is empty. After the listing, it's clear it was artificially pumped. That's why I'll be watching today for a continuation of the short. Opinion was dumped very well after. Again, some manipulative moves. It's worth keeping an eye on because the structure's clearly being formed here. At the low of interest, that's the round 10 mark, and for a breakout of these levels. And Siren, a weekend pump. That's normal for Siren. It's behaved like that before. It has also been mentioned repeatedly in reviews. The only thing is, it didn't reach the liquidity at 1.38 and has already started to correct. Here, it looks like a rounding off on the lower time frame. And overall, this could continue the correction. So for now, the sentiment is bearish. Everything could change and the price might be pushed up again, taken out those AI 1.38 levels. That's all from me. Wishing everyone a great week and successful trading situations.